One of my favorite gaming discussions deals with the philosophy behind determining a game's quality. How do we judge a video game, right? What attributes are relevant to the process? Why is one good and another bad? And you know, there are standard answers to that question. Most look at the tightness of a game's control, the technical merit of its graphics, the features included in the package, all aspects which indicate quality. But when we take that approach to a game like this, you see just how flawed it can be. I mean, certainly the technical aspects of this game are sound, to say the least. But to focus on them alone would be to miss what makes this game so very special and so incredibly good. This is Super Mario Galaxy for the Nintendo Wii. This is one of the very best games I have ever played, and despite its apparent complexities, exploring why that's the case is deceptively easy. Super Mario Galaxy is a lot of things, but perhaps most importantly, it's a total deconstruction of the principles behind not only Mario games, but video games as a whole. In what seems like a reaction against current development philosophies, Super Mario Galaxy is not about watching, but doing. It's not about being passive, but being active. During an era in which game designers stubbornly chip away at the walls between films and video games, Super Mario Galaxy strips the latter down to what made it fun in the first place. It's not about sitting in a movie theater, it never was. It's about the fundamental joy of moving, of running and jumping, and playing. With Super Mario Galaxy, Nintendo took everything that made the Super Mario Bros. Games enjoyable and brought it into 3 dimensions, much more faithfully than ever before. Now, it may look complicated at first, but through a different lens, you see this game boils Mario's fundamental gameplay concepts to their purest form. Only this time, they're literally being applied in a different world. The biggest hook in Super Mario Galaxy, and what ultimately makes it so impossibly fun, is the way the game toys with gravity. While some levels are traditionally styled platforming landmasses, many are comprised simply of small, drifting planetoids, each with an independent gravitational pull. And it's precisely that mixture of purified Super Mario mechanics and gravity-based platforming that makes Super Mario Galaxy so ridiculously fun to play. From just portions of some levels to other entire galaxies, the game utilizes this concept flawlessly. The level design is diverse and shockingly creative. On the whole, in fact, it may have actually been the best we've seen in a Mario game, until the sequel came along. Mario's orbiting around planets, he's soaring into space only to be pulled back around by gravity. Again, it all seems very complex, but on the most basic level, what is movement, what is jumping and running without gravity? The philosophies are simple, the results are incredible. Fortunately for Mario, all the moves he's been mastering for the last 30 years are at his disposal even in outer space. He can run, he can jump, he can triple jump, he can long jump, and every move he makes controls with uncanny precision. It's so much fun to run around Mario's world because of the core gameplay philosophies, of course, but the controls and mechanics with which they're realized are nearly flawless, and ultimately, that's what enables this remarkable experience. In terms of its structure, Super Mario Galaxy is similar to Super Mario 64 and Super Mario Sunshine before it. Each of the game's worlds is comprised of diverse levels, and each level of several individual objectives. You fulfill each of them to grab a star, and you collect stars to unlock new worlds. The template hasn't changed because the template works, and by keeping players playing, it allows the mesmerizing platforming to hog the limelight. Which, in a Super Mario game, is exactly the way it should be. Of course, we can look at Super Mario Galaxy through a traditional lens. It's easily the best looking and most artistically impressive Wii game to date, And although you can technically beat the game after just 60 stars or so, Mario completionists have a daunting 30 to 40 hours of space travel ahead of them if they hope to collect them all. And believe me, some of those later hours become deliciously challenging, calling into question that old assertion, Mario games are for kids. You know, I could praise Galaxy up and down, and backwards and sideways, given the gravity, but I think the game does that job for itself. In fact, while preparing this review, I was revisiting the game when a few of my fiance's friends came over, and they sat on the couch and they were chatting with her for a while, and they only cast an occasional glance at the television, but this continued for like an hour before finally one of them asked, Is that Super Mario? Of course I said, yes, it is Super Mario, and they asked if they could play for a little while, so I handed them the controllers. I couldn't even get out how to play before they were already playing. Move with the analog stick, jump with A. And it's beautifully simple, and 2 hours later, these young women, none of whom owned a gaming console or thought a Magic Koopa was anything more than a strange Japanese adhesive, were still playing Super Mario Galaxy. They were passing the controller around, they were laughing hysterically, but most curiously to me, they were dying. I mean, they were awful at this game. So obviously I was puzzled and I asked, well, don't you want me to get past that part for you so you can keep playing other levels? And they looked at me like I was crazy. They said, hell no, we're having way too much fun. And you know, more than any of the countless hours I've spent playing and analyzing this game the way I tend to do, that moment convinced me that it's incredible, that it transcends demographics, that it's one of the best games, hands down, Nintendo has ever made. And, more importantly, that Super Mario Galaxy is way too much fun.